everybody.
Guys.
Welcome to Bariatric Foodie Live. I'm gonna just say this before anything else wonky happens. Wait a minute. Let me flip
Mhm.
this because half my face is obliterated. Let me say this before we even get started. There is a big storm rolling into Baltimore. My Wi-Fi has been acting really, really, really wonky.
Oh yeah.
So yeah. I don't know.
Hmm.
I hope we make it through this whole show because it is an important show for me to do. If we don't make it through the whole show where it's just too problematic, we will redo this show because it's
Hmm.
that important for me to do it. So anyway,
Right.
hi. If this is your first time watching the show, I am Nick and this is my esteemed co-host.
I'm Shannon.
And we come to you every week with varying levels of post-op ridiculosity.
Mm.
Um, how are you today, Jen? Well, wait a minute. Before we get into how are
Okay.
you today, I just have to
Uh-huh.
tell people about my setup because it's going to be weird because I'm getting used to the fact that, like, you might notice that my video quality is like 5 million times better than it usually is. That's because I
Amazing.
actually set up my professional camera to be my webcam, which is like a yay. But the boo
Right?
is that you run the show off of a computer. And so I'm sort of in between my camera and my computer. So if you see me
Hmm.
looking down, it's just because I'm putting subtitles up and down or whatever. And if I freeze and go away completely, it's my Wi-Fi acting wonky. We're gonna. Shannon has her husband in the backyard swinging the chicken, so
Yep.
we're
It's
gonna hope
true.
for the best. We're gonna hope for the best. So anyway, with that, how are you, Shannon? How you doing?
I'm good. I'm tired. Uh, I'm starting to come down with some kind of something. Like I don't know if it's the weather change or if it's like my kids are back in school and they're like hanging out with all the other kids who aren't, washing their hands properly or whatever, but I'm starting to get a little bit like stuffy nose and itchy throat, and so
Got
I'm like, hmm,
red.
I don't need this right now, but I'm doing all right otherwise.
Well, that's
But I ain't got
good.
time. I
You
ain't
ain't
got
got
time for this.
You ain't got no time for that. All right,
Mm-mm.
so I just wanted to before we jump into the show, a couple of things. Number one is that you can always sign up for show updates at bariatricfoodie.com/live. Tonight, I sent out a reminder about the show to my entire email list because I thought this was an important subject. But usually on a week-to-week basis, we send it out to people who sign up at bariatricfoodie.com/live. We'll email you on the day of the show, let you know what the show is about, and even give you a handy dandy link to come directly to the show. It's very convenient, so make sure that you
Yes.
sign up for that. We do have a few announcements.
Right. Hmm.
Okay, like I keep moving my laptop like that's gonna make my chin show, but it's not. 'Cause the camera's over there. Anyway, so announcement number one is Shannon.
Oh,
What starts on
what?
Monday?
Oh, the bariatric foodie fall step bet,
The
you guys.
Bariatric Foodie Fall Step Bet. We are going to step our way through the fall. I have faith that fall is coming. It will get
Hmm.
cooler. The leaves will change. What better time to recommit yourself to your habit of walking than now? So I'm going to put the
Yes.
link after the show to the information about the Bariatric Foodie Fall Step Bet in the show, but I would love for you to join us. The day we start is on Monday, the 10th. That absolute drop dead last day that you can sign up is on Sunday, the 16th. So if you have been looking for a way to push past the excuses, past all the reasons why you can't take your steps, have that motivation, that support, that accountability, we are here for you in the Bariatric Foodie Step Bed. And you can win a little bit of money. It's like enough for what? Maybe a Starbucks latte, like a
Yeah.
grande latte or something.
Hmm.
Like my little $6
Right.
I won last time. Yeah, it's the grande latte for 6 weeks of steps. Dag nabbit. Okay, so then
Yeah.
the second announcement we have is that the I'm also going to put the link for this in the show after the show is that the September Bariatric Foodie online cooking class is coming up. That is going to
Yes.
be on Sunday, September 23rd
Woo!
at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm going to put the link. So if I got this totally wrong, then you can check it out. But this month's cooking class is going to be on easy weeknight dinners, stuff that you can come home
Mhm.
after a hard day's work, and you will be able to make these dinners very quickly without dirtying up a bunch of stuff and just get on with your evening. So that's what we're going to talk about in this cooking
Yes.
class. So I'm going to put the link to sign up for that class, which is on September the 23rd. And even if you can't attend the class, you may want to sign up because you get the replay when you
Yeah.
sign up for the class. So if anybody in the viewing audience there went to the very first class, maybe you can throw out a good word about the classes because they
It
really
was
are
awesome.
they were so much fun. I just like cooking for
Mhm.
people, and I'm an absolute hot mess, but I will cook for you. So
It was so much fun to watch you do what you do,
what I do,
it was really fun. It was really
yeah,
fun.
I had a good time. I'm glad you did too.
Mhm.
Okay, so moving right along. So those are our two announcements.
Mhm.
Shannon has a couple of products that she's crushing on,
Yes.
but why don't we start with the one that I made the subtitle for, which is
All right. Hicka chips. Okay, so
chips.
um I found these at my grocery store a couple weeks ago and I was intrigued because we've talked about jicama a lot. I love jicama. I have only ever had jicama raw. I was like, I know you can do other stuff with it, but
I've never
I
cooked
like it.
jicama.
Right. Like I've never done it either. So this is, and now hold on a second. I'm gonna move this so I can see what I'm doing a little
And,
bit.
and here's where my eyes get weird because I'm gonna look at what she's doing instead of at the camera.
Okay. So this is called Pica Chips, and these are the cinnamon churro flavor.
Let's
I
see.
tried the I tried the original flavor, and I haven't tried these ones yet. Okay,
Okay.
but on the front, it gives you the serving size, 100 calories per bag, and 5 grams of prebiotic fiber. Um, they have 1.5 grams of total fat, 70 milligrams of sodium, 21 total grams of carbohydrate, which includes 6 grams of sugar, 5 grams of fiber, and 1 gram of added sugar. So that's probably from the cinnamon churro like flavoring. 2 grams of protein. Um, there's 46 milligrams of calcium, um, zero point 0.4 milligrams of iron, and 160 milligrams of potassium. Um, and these are a baked jicama chip.
Yeah,
They're
I'm very
super
curious about this.
okay, so they're very thin, super thin cut,
So what
and
happens when you bake jicama?
right,
I'm just trying to understand. I'm trying to wrap my head around this concept because it's
like
so
they're
show it.
they're
Oh,
really
okay.
they're really thin. They're
Okay.
really really crispy, and they taste like what
Jicama.
jicama tastes like, only baked. Like they're crispy. So they have a slightly sweet, slightly potatoey like flavor and texture and crunch. The sea salt flavor was really really good. I probably could eat those like with a really light dip, not
Oh.
probably like a heavy chip, like a chip dip or whatever, but like a light dip would be nice.
Hmm.
There's like slightly more than average variation between the pieces that are sweet and the pieces that are less sweet, because obviously they're probably from a bunch of different jicamas, and sometimes you get that variance where some are sweeter, some are not. Um,
Mhm.
I'm super interested in. I'm gonna try it. Can I
Yeah, go
try it?
ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Oh, it has a crunch.
Yeah, it has a lot of crunch.
I'm
I like
impressed with
these.
the crunch. Mama, does it taste like a cinnamon churro? Like what?
It
Like
does
you
taste
gotta
like cinnamon
give
churro.
us the deep.
It's not.
Give us the-
It's not like. It's not like that granular sugar churro like feeling.
Yeah, because there's like that experience of having a
Right.
churro, like with the churro in
It's
your hand
not
and
like
everything.
having a churro,
Oh,
because that's
but
a whole bit. Like that's a whole thing. But the flavor is very much a cinnamon flavor. These would be
yeah.
really really good with a oh, this is what I want to do with it right now. I want to I want to get um caramel pudding mix with
Ooh, like a
with
dulce de
Greek
Shannon.
yogurt with Greek yogurt
Mm-hmm.
and like kind of mix that up and make like like a dip for that, like a sweet caramely cinnamon or an apple type. Like it's
Ah,
really these are good. I'm excited
okay.
about these. And
So,
I actually kind of like these better than the sea salt flavor because the natural sweet of the jicama goes really well with the cinnamon that's on
okay.
them. So
So
I'm really loving these.
two
I'm
thumbs
really
up. We're
loving
gonna
them.
put the link to the Hicka chips in the show.
Yes.
So you can.
Delicious.
I just like saying Hicka chips.
Right. Hicka chips.
Hicka chips.
Hicka chips. So,
Pikachu.
that's got me thinking. That's got me thinking we need to probably play with our food and see what happens if we try
We should
to
have a
make
head-to-head Hicka chip battle.
right head to head
First,
Hicka chip.
who reigns supreme with the Hicka chip?
Oh my gosh, I can't.
Anyway,
I can't with you.
so what is this? What is the
All right.
second? So, we gotta eventually get to Joe. So
Right,
what
we
is
got to
the
get to
second
this.
thing?
So the second one, I brought this one out because I've been using this one, this product, and since we're talking about hair loss,
Her.
and different, reasons for having hair loss, I've always been very open about the fact that I've always had really thin hair, and it bothers me sometimes when I feel like it's especially noticeable. When my hair gets longer, my hair's super thin, it's super fine. And I had found some products that I was using, and we've talked about them on lives before. And the one that I have is like a root touch up, which I've started noticing at grocery stores, like regular or like your Myers, Target, that kind of thing. There's just spray on root, touch up things. But
Mhm.
this product is actually a dry shampoo with color in it. This one, because I have dark hair, I have Divine Dark, and it is the Batiste Dry Shampoo Plus. So this works a couple different ways. This I can use on my hair when in between washing, because I found I used to wash my hair an awful lot, and I know that's not good for your hair to be washing it like all the time, because you want to have like the natural oils in your hair there. They protect the scalp, that kind of thing. So this is a really good product to use in between shampooing, because you massage it in it
Ooh, a head massage.
yeah, you like you
No,
spray
that
it.
didn't sound right. Scalp massage.
You massage it in, and then you let it sit, and then you kind of brush it through, and then you style it like you normally would, and it absorbs some of the extra oil. And then because it has the slight dark stuff,
Hmm.
it kind of gives your hair a little more
Like that appearance of fullness.
the appearance of fullness. Yes. Not as much as the previous products that I've used that were specifically targeted for like covering up grays or like covering up your roots, but this does do a really good job of making your hair appear fuller, because you're also refreshing the hair with the dry shampoo feature. So I'm really excited about this product, this Batiste. They have it. They have it in just your regular, like just regular dry shampoo. Um, but I like it because sometimes if you overspray dry shampoo and it's white, it makes your hair look great, like kind of ashy and gray. And I've done that before, and then I have to just wash my hair. So this stuff works really nice because it doesn't do that for a darker hair.
Oh.
So I like it.
So you're
But
gonna give me the link to put
I
this.
yeah, I'll get you the link to that, and we will put that in at the end.
All righty.
Yeah.
That's kind of a good segue. Somebody asked if I could make the orange bar smaller. No, I can't. I don't have any control over the orange bar, so I just
Right.
made it go away. But
Orange bar is the orange bar.
so that is a good segue into what we're going to talk about tonight. So let me set us up a little bit, Shannon. First of all, I feel like I kind of misspoke on my Facebook posts about this because I was like, I'm gonna bare my scalp on Bariatric Foodie tonight. Okay, guys,
Mhm,
let me just get honest with you. First of all, I have no problem bearing my
mhm,
scalp. I am not shy
mhm,
about that. For those of you who have followed Bariatric Foodie for a while, you know this. If you're new, you will soon find out that shy is probably one of the last adjectives anybody is likely to use. Ex, expository, exhibitionist, maybe, but not shy. Um, so I have no problem showing you my
mhm,
my bare scalp. However, and I'll get into why this is a little bit later, but I can't. I don't have the setup to show you my bare scalp at this point.
mhm.
So it's like, so I'm sorry if that was false advertising. If y'all like, tuned in to see me with my wig off, that is not going to happen.
Right.
Darn. So, what also is not going to happen is this is not going to be like a straight sort of pictorial history of my hair loss because,
Mhm.
quite frankly, that would be really, really boring. So, we've tried to fashion this show where I'm sharing my personal story, but also through the lens of how it affects your personal story because a lot of you have experienced hair thinning, hair loss as a result of weight loss surgery. A lot of folks are nervous. A lot of folks are scared that it won't come
Mhm.
back and things like that. So, I'm going to share my story also because, and it was important for me to do this because there is there are various reasons why people lose their hair. And even after weight loss surgery, there are various reasons people lose their hair. And so I wanted you to know what is like normal par for the course versus something that you need to get checked out. Because one of the threads you'll hear as I tell my story is the fact that I did not take action on what was happening to my
Mhm.
body. And that's basically why the choices I had at the end of the day were very, very limited. So I want you to listen to this. I want you to be, scared. I want you to listen with an open mind and take away from it that, the sooner that you speak up and say something and investigate, the better. And then I've always joked about this, but I am dead serious in saying that if my story of hair loss makes you feel better about your story of hair loss, I am 100% okay with that. Okay. If you're,
Mhm.
if you're brushing your hair and it's a little thinner than it used to be, and you're like, yeah, well, my hair is thinner than it used to be, but at least I don't have a Nick's situation going on. It's fine. It's okay. I don't mind you doing that at all. So anyway, ah, oh, my friend Alyssa is on the broadcast. Alyssa, I
Yay.
wish I could move the camera because oh my gosh, can I get it up here? Look what I'm wearing, Alyssa. Look what I'm wearing. Alyssa is my fit blog. Oh, the camera tried it, Shannon.
Mhm.
But
I know.
Alyssa is one of my friends from that I met at a conference called Fit Blog, and then I'm wearing the fit blogging t-shirt. Anyway, so Shannon has
Mhm.
graciously agreed to sort of grill me through
Mhm.
this situation and act as our MC. So I'm
Right.
going to do something that's really hard for me to do, which is I'm going to shut the hell up and let her talk and ask me questions. And I'm only going to speak when she is asking me a question and I'm
Right.
answering it. My head may explode. Somebody
Keep
just
watching.
wipe it up and keep watching.
Someone keep watching. Just keep
Okay.
watching.
So
So,
take it away, Shannon.
all right, awesome. So I was gonna say, just let us know in the comments if you guys are if you guys experience hair loss, or if you have any questions, because we'll catch up with that and we'll get into that if we can later on. So we're gonna start right up. We're gonna go to question number one. So Nick, first
Okay.
things first. I feel like we should show folks what you mean when you say that you are bald. You got a
Oh, wow.
picture?
I got a picture.
Come on.
Yeah. Okay, so
Mhm.
you guys usually see me like this because my wig is like a hot mess because it's been humid and frizzy and things like that. But if you were, people on my personal Facebook page get treated to a picture every time I go to the wig shop because I just feel so liberated every time they
Mhm.
take that wig off. I am not completely bald. I have progressive hair loss. Eventually, all of my hair is going to be gone. And I will explain later why, all the miracle cures and the blah, 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 blah just aren't going to work on me. However, I do still have some hair on my head. It is not much. I have male pattern hair loss. I'm about to show you this picture, but keep in mind, like I said, that's why I said I'm not like Mr. Clean bald head.
Mhm.
But here is Nikki without the wig. Are you ready? Oh,
I'm
the
ready.
other caveat I have is that I appreciate compliments because when I show pictures of my bald head, people's response tends to be, "Oh my God, you're beautiful with or without hair." And if you want to say that, hey, I accept those with love. That's not necessarily like what I'm looking for by showing you this picture. I have a lot of confidence in myself. I do actually think I'm a very attractive person. So any compliments that you bring my way, I appreciate them, but then also don't feel like you're obligated. It's okay to say, wow, she really don't have no damn hair. So anyway, here's the picture. Let me hold up. Where's that? Ah, that is me
Hmm.
at the wig shop without my wig on. So as you can see, and I'll explain how the wig works later. That there's sort of a band. There's like a band of hair, and then there's a big band of no hair. That doesn't have anything to do with the wig. That's just how my hair was. And then there's sort of little bands of hair around the sides. So that is what I mean when I say that I am bald. I do not have that much hair on my head. See, the camera tried it again. But
Uh-huh.
I do not have that much hair on my head.
And like you said, you'll lose more, correct? That
Yes,
that will happen eventually.
yes, eventually all of the hair will go on. And you will see, like, if you can see in the beginning of the picture, there's a light shining on the top of my head. And
Hmm.
the reason why that light is shining so bright is because it's shining on scalp that
Right.
has no hair follicles.
Hmm.
So, yeah. And so people always suggest like these remedies to me and things like that. And
Mm-mm.
it's like you can't grow hair when there's no
No
hair
follicle.
follicle. It's like,
Hmm.
saying you're going to grow a new tooth in a tooth socket or something like
Right.
that. It doesn't work
Doesn't
that
work.
way unless you're 7 and you're growing new teeth.
New
Anyway,
teeth. There
bad
you go.
analogy.
Right. I mean, I
Anyway,
get it. I
so
get it.
let's soldier on.
All right. So when did you first notice that you were losing your hair?
I was about, oh gosh, I want to say I was about 20 or 21. And I
Hmm.
remember this specifically because I was really into, like, I was like, you have to understand, I came up, as a teenager in the 90s, poetic justice with the long braids and the cowrie shells, and everybody's all Afrocentric and everything like that. So I used to wear like a lot of braided styles, a lot of like cornrowed styles and things like this. And this particular time, I had gone and gotten my hair done, and it was this cornrowed style that was like sort of like this swoop pattern,
Hmm.
around my head, and then it came up into like this ponytail that went down my back, and that ponytail down my back, obviously, it was fake hair. I'm gonna just be honest with y'all. But anyway,
Hmm.
the braids in the front were my hair, and I noticed one day as I was looking in the mirror, washing my face, that there was like this maybe just slightly larger than a dime-sized chunk of hair missing. And it wasn't missing in a way where, there were like little stubbly hairs there that,
Hmm.
maybe I had pulled my hair too hard or pulled a knot out of it too hard and maybe it broke. It wasn't breakage. The hair was just gone and there was scalp there and it was really tiny. So I decided that, it was okay. I go on about my business and everything. And, that's really where it started. And it got just sort of progressively worse and worse and worse. But that was when I first started it. And I would say that would be 1997 or 1998,
Okay.
probably. Yeah. So that was when I first noticed
Got
the
it.
hair loss.
Okay. Now, when you had weight loss surgery, you still had hair.
Hmm.
Did you notice it thinning further as a result of your weight loss surgery or as a result of weight loss?
That's a,
Because
that's an
because we have a lot of people that report weight hair loss, weight loss, hair loss after
we're
weight loss
losing
surgery.
every
We
damn
this
thing.
right, right. So we hear that an awful lot. So did you experience that at a faster rate?
The hair thinning, honestly, I didn't notice because by the time that I had weight loss surgery, my hair loss had gotten to a point where my hair was so incredibly thin already. And I have a
Mhm.
picture. Oh my gosh. I'm going to show you guys a picture of me at my absolute rock bottom low weight. I am not this size anymore, guys. It's okay. I have good memories, but I'm going to show you what I was doing at that time, just to show you that and I don't have like a lot. Oh gosh, let me see if I can make this any. It's probably bigger on people's screens, but wait a minute,
Mhm.
hold up. There we go. That's me. And at that point, I was wearing like almost exclusively ponytails because all I could do was pull my hair up because the middle of it was completely bald. So I could pull it up and I could put a fake ponytail on it. And that was like the style of my hair every single day.
Mhm.
So I didn't really notice um, any additional thinning or anything from weight loss surgery, but it could have happened. I don't know. I think at that point I was just so used to not having a lot of hair that I didn't really pay that big of attention. It wasn't really like an important thing for me to pay attention to at the time.
Oh, okay, good. Um, So we're going to stop right here because I think it's important to talk about hair loss after weight loss surgery because that's very important topic a lot of people ask us about. And we're going to talk about why you can experience hair loss after weight
Mhm.
loss surgery. So human hair follicles have two stages, um, the anagen or growth phase and telogen, which is a dormant or resting phase.
Anagen and telogen.
Telogen. I would say telogen. That's how I would say it. But so a growth phase and a resting phase. Um, all hair begin all hairs begin their life in anagen phase. They grow for a period of time, then they shift into telogen phase, which lasts for 100 to 120 days. After that, the hair falls out.
So
Uh,
all people have hair that fall.
all people have hair fall. All people have hair loss. It's a naturally
Natural
occurring
cycle.
process.
Yeah.
Right. Specific types of stress can result in a shift of a much greater percentage of hairs in the telogen phase. The stressors known to result in this shift or telogen effluvium. So that would be the higher amount of hair in
So
the
that's what they call like, yeah, a higher percentage of hair coming out as wait a minute,
telogen
telogen effluvium. That sounds like a
effluvium.
spell on Harry Potter.
It
Anyway,
does.
um, sorry.
So two of those types of stressors are things that happen after weight loss surgery. One is recovery from major surgery and
Mhm.
low protein intake. There are other risk factors, and we'll talk about that, or we'll link to a great article about that by the OAC, which outlines all of that in later on after the show's over. We'll link it in the notes to the show so that you can go ahead and take a look at that later. Um, hair loss rarely lasts. Hair loss rarely lasts for more than 6 months in the absence of a dietary cause. Um, these causes can include biotin deficiency, which we talk a lot about. We hear a lot of people say using different types of biotin. They use them after surgery in the products that they put on their hair. They ingest them, and unless your doctor advises against it, taking biotin won't hurt. Um, but if it's not a hair loss caused by biotin deficiency, it's probably not going to be as effective to remedy the hair
I
loss.
feel like I always feel like we're being haters when we say that, but it is
Right,
actually so true because people
right.
will go out and buy all the biotin things. But
They will.
honestly, if you don't have a biotin deficiency, then biotin, you're just going to have adequate levels of biotin, and whatever
Right.
the reason that your hair is coming out will persist. If it's low protein, then it's going to persist until your protein stabilizes. If you have
Hmm.
other nutritional deficiencies, it will persist until those are rectified. If it is something completely different, it's going to keep on until that is diagnosed and addressed. So,
Absolutely.
that's not hating on biotin because you may very well have a biotin deficiency,
Right.
but just knowing that, just keep an eye on your labs. If you don't actually have a biotin deficiency, but you do have hair thinning, hair loss, communicate with your doctors and let them know that so you can try to get to the bottom of it because all the biotin in the world is not going to help if you don't have a biotin deficiency. So,
Exactly.
okay.
Exactly. So we're going to talk about when you should worry about hair loss. And again, we're going to talk. You can see that more in the article that we're going to link to. But two things stand out as triggers for investigation. If you're still losing a lot of hair after 6 months post-op, or if you experience hair loss starting at 6 months post-op or later. Those are two times where you should probably be a little more concerned and reach out to someone about hair loss.
Yeah, so if the 6 months has gone by and you're still losing hair very rapidly, and then also if you haven't been losing hair very, very rapidly or thinning hair very rapidly, but you all of a sudden start at 6 months, 1 year, a year and a half post-op, both of those situations, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. And the last thing that I wanted to touch on before we go back to your story, Nick, is that weight loss surgery is not the sole reason a person can be losing hair. It's possible, like Nick, to be losing your hair for a completely different reason. Um, and you may not even ever know that reason. But it's important not to get caught up in false causation. Prolonged weight loss or prolonged hair loss after weight loss surgery, that's really hard to get straight, just so you know. Prolonged hair loss after weight loss surgery, absent of nutritional deficiencies, um, it's not normal. So if you need to see a doctor about your hair loss, you should. And that gets us like to the next question. But do you have anything that you want to add on that?
Um, No, yeah, well, only just to re-emphasize that whole, and what we say when we say that, sort of the fallacy of causation is that, we see this a lot, don't we, Shannon, where people
Yeah,
are like, my toenail hurts. Is it a result of weight loss surgery? But
right,
with the hair
right.
loss, there's a little bit more of a closer association because it happens to a
Hmm.
lot of post-ops. But, just making sure that that, that 6 months and 6 months, if it goes past 6 months or if it starts at 6 months, you really need to investigate. It may not necessarily even be with your bariatric surgeon. You may need to investigate it with your primary care
Hmm.
physician, but knowing what's normal, what's not is very important. So anyway,
Exactly. All
back
right.
to you.
So, all right. So we're gonna ask the next question. Um, did you seek treatment right away when you noticed your hair was coming out?
Of course not. That would be too
No.
much like
Mm-hmm.
right. So like I said, I had noticed this dime size piece of hair missing and I did nothing. And that dime sized piece of hair turned into a quarter and the quarter turned into a silver dollar and small plate and whatever other analogies you want. It, like I said, I had
Mm-hmm.
male pattern hair with also it worked its way toward the middle and then all over my hair just started to disappear. And I did nothing for years and years and years. And I really regret that because when I finally did go to a doctor, they weren't able to give me an exact reason why I was losing my hair. So at the time, they called it alopecia areata. Alopecia is sort of a garden variety term for you are losing your hair and you shouldn't be losing your hair,
Mm-hmm.
so we're going to call it something. Alopecia areata is sort of the generalized, you're losing your hair for some reason thing. Recently, my dermatologist sort of upgraded that to a progressive form of alopecia totalis. Alopecia totalis is when you lose all of your hair. There's a bunch of different kinds of alopecia. There's stress alopecia when you wear your hair in really tight hairstyles and it'll come out and things like that. So I have alopecia totalis. And so by the time I went to go get seen for that, though, parts of my scalp were smooth as a baby's bottom because there was no hair follicle there.
Mm-hmm.
That's the reason why I keep stressing to you guys, if you have hair loss, see your doctor, talk to your doctor, badger your doctor about it to get down to the cause. Because if you have, I was told by my dermatologist, if you had come in, you know, prior to these hair follicles out and out dying, we might not have been able to do something. Now at this point we can't really. The only thing that's really could be done at this point regarding me growing hair back is the introduction and the legalization in the United States of like stem cells,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a little bit freaky. That thought sort of freaks me out a little bit, and it's probably way more expensive than I have money for. So,
Mm-hmm.
but people,
Mm-hmm.
oh my gosh, Shannon, people like suggest all of these different like sort of remedies and
Right.
things and products and things like that, and I keep, like I said, I keep trying to explain to them there is no hair
There's
follicle.
nothing.
I can't grow
Mm-hmm.
hair without a hair follicle. It's not possible. So anyway, yeah, no, I didn't go. I didn't go for years. And I would say I discovered it in 97, going into 98. I probably didn't, and I didn't have any children at the time, so there was really nothing stopping me. Um, I probably went to go see about my hair loss, I want to say maybe 2006,
Wow.
2007. So I let
Wow.
it go a long time. And the only
Right.
explanation I have is that I buried my head in the sand because I was afraid of what my doctor would say.
Right.
So
Now,
basically,
at this point, what's your outlook where your hair is concerned?
well, it's not growing back.
Right. Right.
It's not growing back, but I'm okay with that. You know what? I've been dealing with this for so many years. Like, what is this now? Like, 97 to now. This is 20 some years. I I am dealing with this so well. I feel like I've had a lot of time and a long runway to sort of accept what's happened to my hair. I did finally in 2014, there we go, decide that I wanted a more permanent solution than like pulling my hair back into the ponytails. Besides the fact that there wasn't really that much hair to pull back into the ponytails anymore.
Anymore.
And it hurt. Oh, dear Lord, it hurt to pull my hair
Yeah.
back into those ponytails. So it was just like one of those things where, it wasn't comfortable and it wasn't me. So what I decided to do, and this is the part that I like talking about because
Hmm.
yay, the wig. I decided that I was going to investigate what's called a hair replacement system. Yes, I wear a wig, but this is a special kind of wig. It is called a hair replacement system. And when you go to a hair replacement center, that is who provide your hair replacement system. The first thing I want you guys to know about hair replacement systems is that sometimes they are covered under your insurance policy, depending on why you lost hair. With my personal insurance policy, I can't get my wig covered because the only thing that they allow, the type of system that I have for is post chemotherapy. The interesting part of that is that I subsequently, you guys know my story, did get breast cancer. Didn't even end up needing chemotherapy. I was like, I had this whole cancer experience and I didn't even get a wig out of it. Anyway, so um, anyway, I never know whether or not cancer jokes are appropriate. But look, I lived through it, dag nabbit. I'm a survivor, dag nabbit. So anyway, so I decided to get a hair replacement system, and it's a very interesting process. And one day maybe I'll come to you live from my hair replacement system. The Wi-Fi and the network there are awful. So I've tried. Like I think I live streamed once when I was getting my hair taken off and put back on, but that was kind of rough. But they basically, how this system is different is a couple of ways. Number one is that it is custom made to my head. They made a cast of my head, which is very interesting. It's Shannon, if you ever want to see pictures of that, I'm gonna find a Throwback Thursday picture and share it on Facebook because I documented it. But they made a cast of my head. They sent it off for the wig to be made. They are very intricately made. Yes, this is human hair. It is not my human hair, but it is human hair.
Right.
It stays on for 4 weeks at a time. So how that works is that I have sort of a plan, like a contract, like a cell phone contract, if you will, for a year with the hair replacement center. And as a part of that, I have 2 hair pieces that they keep for me, and they interswitch them. So when I go in every 4 weeks, what happens is they'll take this one off. And here's one of the beauties of having a hair replacement system, Shannon. For the rest of the world, when you go to the salon to get your hair done, you have to be there for the duration of the time your hair is getting done. For me, I walk in the door and my hair is already done. All I got to do is take this off, put it on. So anyway, I alluded earlier to the fact that I can't show you guys my bald scalp. And that's because of the fact that this is bonded to my head with like surgical grade glue. So yeah, it does not come off. I can, shake my head. I can go swimming. I can, Shannon saw me in the, August heat and humidity of Louisiana, and the damn thing still didn't come off. It does not come off. But the hair is built to withstand the ins and outs of things. I can shampoo it. I can condition it. It's not going to come off of my head. I can put it in a ponytail. I can wear it down. And all of those different things. You guys probably notice when I get my wig done, because I'm all like, I have names for my wigs, but I'm all like, floofy with the wig versus right now. Like actually, it hasn't been that long since I got my wig done, but it's just been that humid outside. And since it's human hair, it does react to humidity and things like that. But yeah, so I think the big points that I wanted to make is that, this is not the only option for hair loss, and it is not the only option that I'll probably ever explore. A lot of people have asked me if I would, just rock the bald look. Yeah, I'd rock the bald look. I like having hair though, so there's nothing wrong with liking having hair sometimes. It's like people say that sort of in the vein like you should embrace your baldness. And me wearing a hair replacement system does not mean I don't embrace my baldness or that I'm ashamed of my baldness. It means that I like having hair sometimes. Please
Mhm.
believe though, like I said, like I showed you that picture, I will take pictures and things like that when I don't have the wig on, and I'm not really that shy about it. I also did take the wig off. It's, you know what was interesting, Shannon? Okay, funny sort of hair loss cancer mashup story. It's right before I had my double mastectomy. My dad came into town because he wanted to be in town. I'm his only child. He wanted to
Mhm.
be in town. I'm having this major surgery. So he comes from New York. I pick him up at the Greyhound station the day before my surgery. And I'd had my wig taken off. I went to the wig shop. I had the wig taken off. Both of my wigs were at the wig shop because I wasn't going to be laid up in bed for weeks and weeks with the wig on for it getting matted.
Right.
They are extremely expensive. So I had the wig off and, I was rocking my bald head, like with the scarf on, right? And my dad takes one look at me and he was just like, you could tell he was just traumatized because in his head, he didn't know that I hadn't gone through chemo and all the, he just sort of
Right.
associates cancer, bald, about to
Right.
die, like
Oh,
all of these different things. This poor guy was so inconsolable for like 5 whole minutes
my
before I
gosh.
explained to him that like I normally
No.
don't have hair, Dad. You just see me in a
Yeah.
wig. So anyway, oh wait a minute, I do have a picture. I don't know if it'll show up well because it's a landscape picture, but this is me and Shannon together in one of my better wig moments in Louisiana. Okay, there we go. Oh, wait a minute. Why do
Yeah.
I have the what? No, I don't want no post op Nikki, but that's
There we
us.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yay.
Yay. So yeah,
That's
so
me.
that's it's you and me. We were even color coordinated.
We
But
were. How did we do that?
so I'm trying to think of any other questions people might have. Okay, so like so far as insurance covering it, you
I
would
have
find
another
that.
question.
Oh, go ahead.
I have another question.
Sure.
So because you have alopecia totalis, do you have hair on your legs or on your arms or any of that? Have you ever had hair on your arms and legs or anything like that?
You asked me this question because you've heard me talk about it before, haven't you? Everybody thinks it's so freaky too. I'm like the most hairless person. I've never shaved my legs before in my life, and I have not a stitch of hair on my legs. I find that up to be a benefit. I don't have armpit hair. I
Hmm.
will, without getting too graphic, say that I have hair in other places that women have
Right.
hair, but not on my legs, not under my arms. And as you can see, I have like three whole hairs over every eyeball
Right.
that we, want to
And is that
call
typical?
eyebrows. Um,
Is that typical? Do you know?
my doctors say that they think that that's all sort of associated, but again, there's not really a good sort of read on why that had happened to me. Again, if I had gone in earlier, they might have been able to sort of pinpoint and track down, but that's been like my whole life. Like I said, my mom refused to let me buy, like, because that was like a sign of like a rite of passage for girls. You're shaving your leg, you're a grown woman now. My mother would not let me. But she's like, what are you going to? You have nothing to shave. You have nothing to
Mhm.
like. My legs are like shiny smooth. Like, yeah. So,
Right.
but I'm to the point now at 41 years old that I'm not jealous about that anymore. I'm like,
Right.
I kind of feel bad for people who have to shave their legs because that looks like a dicey proposition.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
probably like cut myself so bad.
It's a struggle. It's a
Anyway,
struggle.
did
And
you
there's
have
and
any more?
razors are expensive, so just be thankful.
Did you have any more questions,
I don't
Shannon?
have any more
Well,
questions.
I was gonna say, well, maybe if you, well, I'll look back and see if anybody else
All
has any
right.
questions because it seems like we're getting like the comments in spurts. Maybe it's the internet
Right, right.
connection.
I think that the connection is acting funny. So do you want me to start doing the kind of recap and kind of go back
Well, I wanted
and
to
you want to
say a
take a look or
couple
is
more
there
things.
okay.
One is, like I said, go see your doctor. Get as much documentation if you're experiencing hair loss as you can because you may be able to get them covered. When I say that these wigs are expensive, the very first one I got in 2014, I bought outright before getting on the plan that I'm on at the hair replacement center. That wig was very much like the one you saw in the picture of me and Shannon. It cost, I think, $2,900. So when I say that it's not cheap, it's not cheap. And if
Right.
you can get insurance to cover it or your flexible spending plan to cover it, do that. But you probably are going to have to get a lot of documentation to do that. So check your insurance plan, go to your doctor, go through all the rigmarole, because if that's something that you're interested in, then do it. Now, the downside to having this sort of hair system is that I'm a fairly active person. I walk a lot, I work out, I go to the gym, all of those different types of things. But um, and interestingly enough, this wig is like a hat on my head all the time. You do sweat underneath this thing.
Yes.
And so
Oh,
it's like it's important to pick like a solution for yourself. Like, for somebody like me, it may not, I like what I'm doing and I manage it well, but for somebody who is experiencing extreme hair loss, who is very active, sweats a lot, you may want to do a solution that you take on and off. My hair replacement center actually does offer that option where you can tape your wig instead of gluing your
mhm.
wig. And when you tape your wig, you are able to take it on and off. I got people having conversations in the background of my show. Literally, like everybody in my household is like right over there. So anyway, uh, so yeah. So while I'm looking back, yeah, you can sort of
Okay.
summarize for us.
All
But let
right.
me let me look back and see what the comments are, guys.
Sounds good. So we're going to recap. I'll recap a little bit. Um, and like we talked about, we're always losing hair. It's always a process. It's always a cycle of losing hair. Um, Surgeries can exacerbate the normal cycle of hair loss because of certain stressors, recovering from the surgery itself, lack of protein, and other things. You should communicate your hair loss with your doctor. You should also investigate if your hair loss goes past 6 months post op, or if after 6 months post op you start losing hair that you weren't losing before. So anything out of the ordinary as far as hair loss.
Go
One
see
year out, 2 years
that.
out. I went through this. I'll be 6 years post op, and about 6 months ago, I was going through some hair loss issues. So I talked with my doctor. We took a look at labs, and we got that under control. So always be looking at those types of things. Um, Weight loss surgery is not the only reason you can lose your hair.
Mm-mm.
Um, Time is of the essence in hair loss. If you work with your doctor to investigate right away, you'll likely have more options than if you wait.
Yes,
It's a scary thing, but you have to do it.
gotta
Sooner
do
the
it.
better.
Gotta
Hmm.
do it. So yeah, I think that's like the thing I'm gonna say again and again and again. Go see your doctor. Go see your doctor. Go see your doctor because if you feel like your hair loss is extraordinary, or like we said, if it lasted longer than the 6 months, or if it started at 6 months, a year and a half, go see your doctor. There's things that you can do. There's interventions and things like that. If you go while it's in progress, not like after everything has already happened, which is what I did. So learn from my mistake.
Right.
And I hope, guys, that this has been a very helpful. It's interesting now. My darn computer is telling me that I have like 16 minutes left on my battery, so we'll probably be wrapping it up in the next couple
Right.
minutes.
Hmm.
But I hope this conversation has been helpful to you guys, mostly because I feel like you know I feel like this is something that folks worry about a lot. We will talk more about
Right.
confidence in the future, but I don't want you guys I don't want you guys to feel like you are not beautiful unless you have hair, or that
Right.
that you're anything less than. And then the other thing that I wanted to say is that, the hair loss is temporary. I've seen some people in the comments say my hair was thinning at first, now it's coming back. You
Hmm.
did a good thing for your body when you had weight loss surgery. You
Exactly.
stacked up against the risks of living with obesity for the rest of your life. Temporary period of hair loss is it. I personally think, for the most part, for most of us, it's worth it
I agree.
because of the health benefits that you're getting back
Right.
from losing that excess weight. So never doubt that you're
Right.
doing a good thing for yourself. Stay the course. Work on getting your nutrients. Work on getting your protein, and work on all of those things. And the hair will come back if that is the reason why you are losing your hair. So I just wanted to sort of give a word of encouragement. And like I said, it is 100% okay as you are going through your hair thinning experience to say, well, at least I am not weak.
Right. And I only have one other thing that I wanted to add because I have thin hair naturally. To be naturally, I had thin hair before I had weight loss surgery. Um, I think it's okay, and I think that it's worth mentioning that it's okay to honor the feelings that you have about having in hair, that it bothers you or that you're not comfortable with it. And by honoring those feelings, you know, it makes it much easier to uh, find an actionable solution. So
Yeah.
whether like me, you find temporary solutions that help you get through when you're feeling, especially, you know, like the sprays or some sort of other type of thing that help you manage those feelings. Um, just being honest about those feelings gives you that much of a step up to actually doing something about making yourself feel better.
And I
And I think that's
guarantee
super
you
important.
that most of you, if you share your feelings with your significant other, will be delighted to hear how many other things they love about you before they even began to consider your hair. It's like I've heard that so many times, like people saying, I was so depressed about my hair loss, and I told my husband, and my husband was like, I think you're gorgeous no matter what, and I'm so in love with you. And I love people like that. I love love.
Right,
I love
right.
love. Anyway, so we're gonna wrap this up before my because I feel like we've had really good luck with the whole Wi-Fi thing,
Right.
considering
Let's
before the show and everything. So let's dodge
let's do
before
this. Yeah.
before everything. Oh, we got a new batch of comments. Anyway,
Oh
so
shoot.
we're gonna hit the bricks. I don't know what next week's show is gonna be about. I was so like focused on getting this week's show together that that's what I focused on. But we'll come up with something and we'll be
Right.
back
I'm
next
sure
Thursday.
we'll find something
We got
interesting
like
to
a
talk
list
about.
of
There's a
items.
list. We
There's
got
a
some
list,
things.
but I wanted to reiterate with you guys like the fall step bet, it starts on Monday. Go to bariatricfoodie.com/step bet to get more information about the step bet and to join. Check out while you're there my September cooking class. It's going to be easy weeknight dinners. And so we're going to have lots of fun cooking on
Yay.
September the 23rd at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you'll get all of the recipes, nutritional information, and the replay if you enroll in that class. And we will have all of those links inside the status message. But for now, thank you guys for sitting through my story and considering your own story in the process. And we will see you next week, guys. Bye.
Bye guys.